What's up, fight fans? Thank you, as always, for coming through. All right, it's done. It's over. David Haye looks like, I guess he looked like before, didn't he? But he looks like he's talking like he's in one piece, right? I almost feel like we should all be getting a refund for what happened last time out because he clearly lied to us, said it was in one piece, and he clearly wasn't in one piece. But I think, touch wood, I think he is in one piece this time. So I think we do have a real fight, a genuine fight. Obviously, last time out, it was disappointment because of what happened, obviously, in round... Well, when did that happen? Round 6, 7? When his Achilles went, which must be, for a boxer, that's it, right? your legs go, then what can you do? You got to stand and fight. And that didn't quite work out well for him. All right, so sparring's done. Both look in pretty good nick. I will say this, Tony Bellew... definitely is lighter. You can see it, right, in terms of on the scales, not his colour. I just think he definitely looks a bit leaner in the face. Could just be me. I don't know. That's what I got from looking at the press conference. I remember the last time he came in at, 15 stone... Let's just round it up to 15 stone 4. Yeah, I think he could come in 15-1, maybe 15 stone, which is incredibly light. Maybe he's already starting to think tactically, he needs to come in a bit lighter to match David Haye's speed. Maybe he's expecting David Haye to come in a bit lighter. David Haye does look a bit leaner as well in some of the photos we've seen on Instagram. So maybe he's trying to match that. Don't be shocked if he comes in under 15 stone, which I know sounds a bit crazy. But again, 15-4 last time. Definitely looks a bit leaner this time. Don't be shocked if he comes in under 15 stone. David Haye always looks in good nick. Dave Coldwell mentioned that as well, didn't he? He said, you always look in good shape. So you being in good shape, and I said this before, him being in good shape, taking pictures, off with his six-pack and chiseled muscles doesn't really mean anything because I've clearly said, and you've probably heard the phrase, Ferrari no engine. That's kind of where I am with David Haye right now. So I'm not fooled by his shape. It's a case of what's going on beneath all that muscle. And if he is 100%, which no boxer is going into the fight. So if he is 80%, then I'm confident that he gets the job done. I really am. What I will say, and why I'm even more confident that he'll get the job done than I probably was before, is I just think he underestimated Tony Bellew. Like we all did. I did. I said David Haye would smash Tony Bellew in a round. And I meant it. I thought he'll literally walk over, hit him, and it'll be over. And I think he had that mindset as well. And I think he thought it was going to be easy. He thought he was going to go in there, do a job on him, and that was it. It didn't quite work out that way. A lot of boxers go into fights underestimating their opponents. It just happens. It's natural, right? We're only human. I mean, look at someone like Floyd. Floyd did it definitely first time round against Maidana and survived, right? A close fight. And then obviously second time round he was able to adjust. But the thing about Floyd is Floyd was able to adjust the first time round and get the result. David Haye obviously isn't Floyd and he just simply wasn't able to adjust. Once you go in there with that kind of mindset that this is going to be easy work, it's difficult then to really reverse or change that mindset. And that's because you made that decision 2-3 months ago in training camp. Maybe you didn't run as hard as you should. Maybe you skipped a couple of sparring sessions. Maybe your meals weren't as great. Obviously he's banged Ruben Tavares back in, so maybe his strength and conditioner that he had before wasn't as good. So he's changed a few things here in the setup, and I feel like these small changes, first and foremost, taking Tony Bellew a lot more serious will help. One of the big changes, and I think the most important change in this camp, and this is no disrespect to Shane McGuigan, I think it's going to go on to do really, really good things in boxing. I really do believe that. But, I mean, you have to admit, it's a jump up in class to get Ismail Salas in your training camp. Hall of Fame trainer, has been a boxing coach since he was 21. I don't know how old he is now, but I'm guessing he's in his 50s. So you're talking well over 30 years plus experience as a boxing head coach, national head coach for Cuba. A lot of people will talk about Linares, and understandably so, but this guy has trained, he's trained Regondo, he's trained Gamboa, Danny Green. All in all, he's trained 19 world champions. For this training camp as well, he's not even training Linares. Linares is his star pupil. Forget David Haye for a second. Linares is pound for pound, and Linares has got a fight against Lomachenko coming up. He said nope to that, and he's training David Haye. Obviously, David Haye's fight was booked before, but regardless, he would think, sorry, David, I've got to jump to my my star man here. He's not doing that. He's sticking with David Haye. And I think his experience in that corner could be invaluable. I really do. David Haye, I think, has never had an experienced coach. You think about it. I mean, Adam Booth was quite young, especially when him and David Haye were together. Shane McGuigan, obviously younger than David Haye. So now finally he's got a very, very experienced coach in his corner. And I think that could be key come Saturday night. You already see it in his body language. David Haye is already a lot mellow, a lot more calmer. And I wonder if that's the impact of Salah's already taken its toll and already working its effect on David Haye. It could be key for the fight. Tony Bellew mentioned David Haye being, what did he say? He said David Haye is one of the best 4-round fighters in the world. And I understand that. I do. I sometimes think that as well. I remember when I watched David Haye versus Derek Chisora, I thought he was gassing in that, and that was years ago. So I don't know. Maybe he's got a point. Maybe David Haye is a great 4-round fighter. And, I mean, he's probably got more so of a point now, the fact that David Haye is, 38? But don't get it twisted. Tony Bellew is, 35, 34? So he's no spring chicken himself. I expect David Haye to win. I expect David Haye to be able to stop Tony Bellew this time. I expect him to be a bit more patient, a bit more reserved. Don't swing for the haymakers. And I feel like if he does all that, then I expect him to get Tony Bellew out there. I don't know. I'm going to say between 4 and 7. Between 4 and 7, I expect David Haye to get him out there. But what do you guys think? Leave your comments below. Will it be a shock if Tony Bellew wins again? Will it be a shock if Tony Bellew stops David Haye? Or is it a case of David Haye's a bit more switched on now? David Haye's a bit more focused. David Haye's a bit more... He's been humbled, right? I think that's a word they've kind of used frequently in the build-up to this fight. He's been humbled, and that case of him being humbled has made him go back to kind of the drawing board and really, really dig deep and train for this fight. And like I said, I just think, look, as much as I don't really rate David Haye that much, I think he's levels above Tony Bellew, especially when it comes to fighting him at heavyweight. I mean, come on. So we'll see, but I think David Haye, 4 to 7, gets the job done.